Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking an ancient text that feels like it was written literally just for those of us who are flat out exhausted by our own self-improvement journeys. Seriously, if you feel like you've hit an absolute brick wall in your mindfulness practice, stick around, because you're exactly where you need to be. I mean, look at this. Does that hit a little close to home? You know the drill. You've read the books, you've taken the courses, and yet, there you are, silently screaming because someone is chewing loudly next to you, or totally losing your mind over a slow Wi-Fi connection. It's a very specific kind of tiredness. It's practice fatigue. That initial honeymoon phase of discovery? Long gone. You're lying in bed at night thinking, why am I still like this? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Well, let me stop you right there. You haven't gone backwards, and you absolutely aren't lacking some kind of special gift. What's really happening is that you've just hit the second stage. It's like hitting an invisible wall. You see, the first stage is all excitement, right? Every new idea is a revelation. But then the novelty wears off, and progress basically becomes invisible. 2,000 years ago, a text called the Sutra of Complete Enlightenment was written for exactly this moment. It points out something wild. The very things you've learned have quietly morphed into your wall. Without even realizing it, you've built this rigid mental measuring stick of what good practice looks like, and you've accidentally turned your whole journey into this impossible, relentless exam.
And that brings us to the absolute biggest trap in this whole exam. The sutra tells us, in all times, do not give rise to deluded thought. But man, do people misunderstand this. 9 out of 10 times, people read that and think, okay, I need a perfectly blank, totally numb mind. No thoughts whatsoever. And because of that massive misread, your practice turns into a miserable war against your own brain. You sit there going, okay, don't think, nope, I just thought about lunch, I failed. It creates just a mountain of unnecessary frustration.
So let's just wipe that pressure away right now. Take a deep breath. This is such a painful misunderstanding. Listen, for a human being to have thoughts is as natural as an ear hearing sound. If having literally 0 thoughts was the gold standard, then even the Buddha himself would fail. Thoughts are going to arise. Wiping out your thinking entirely, that was never, ever the goal.
To really get this, we've got to separate 2 things. Notice that the key word in the text isn't thought, it's deluded. A normal, passing thought is totally neutral. It just shows up. The deluded part, that's what happens a second later. It's when we chase that thought down the street, take it as undeniable truth, get totally swept away by it, and then pile a massive, heavy layer of self-judgment right on top. Let's break down the anatomy of this. Imagine you're sitting quietly, and a thought pops up, tomorrow's meeting is going to be exhausting. Okay, that's just a passing cloud. It lasts about 1 second. But then, your internal narrator grabs the mic. Wait, why am I thinking about the meeting? I'm so distracted. I am hopeless at this. I've been doing this for years. What is wrong with me? You see what happened? That frantic, spiraling chain of self-attack is the delusion. You basically let your own commentary hijack a harmless 1-second passing cloud and whip it up into a 10-minute Category 5 storm of self-attack. So here is the real core instruction. Just don't get hijacked. It's really that simple. A thought comes, cool, let it come. But don't chase it. Don't build a whole dramatic story around it and start scolding yourself. Just let it arrive and leave on its own schedule. You don't grab it, you don't push it away, you definitely don't need to forcefully empty your head. You just gotta stop fighting with the stuff inside it. Which brings us to the absolute game changer of this sutra. Most of us just default to assuming that enlightenment or complete awakening is this super distant finish line. Like we have to grind for years and scale Himalayan peaks to finally arrive. But the sutra totally flips the script. It says this fully rounded nature of awareness isn't something you produce. You don't manufacture it through grueling practice. It's a state you already have. It's just veiled. Think about it like this. You can't manufacture the sky. It's literally impossible. You don't paint it, you don't build it, it's just there. Sure, sometimes it's completely blocked out by thick gray clouds, but you don't have to strain your muscles to create the sky, right? And while those clouds are constantly rolling in and out, just like our everyday thoughts, our anxieties, our endless planning, the sky underneath hasn't gone anywhere. It never went missing. Your awareness works exactly the same way. It's been perfectly whole and present since the literal day you were born. It's just buried under layers and layers of those deluded, stormy thoughts we were just talking about. So practice isn't about manufacturing the sky. Practice is recognizing that behind all the weather, you are the sky. If you've been stuck on that plateau, feeling totally burned out, I really hope this brings you some massive relief. The thing you've been desperately chasing wasn't waiting for you miles down the road, It's been right under your feet the whole time. You aren't failing to get there, you've just temporarily forgotten that you're already here. Now, you're probably asking the obvious question, right? Okay, if the sky is already there and I'm already complete, why on earth do I even bother practicing? Can I just kick back and do nothing? Well, knowing the sky is there theoretically and actually living from that clear open space every day are two very different things. We don't practice to get something new. We practice because we have to train ourselves to stop using the clouds to scare ourselves into forgetting the sky. So what's the actual game plan? How do we pull this off? The wisdom in the sutra is incredibly practical, so let's walk through 3 concrete, actionable things you can literally start doing today to stop fighting the clouds. All right, practice number 1. When your mind wanders, and trust me, it absolutely will, do not scold yourself. Banish the phrase, I got distracted, I failed, from your vocabulary. Instead, just softly acknowledge it. Tell yourself, a thought, and then gently, easily come back. Remember, beating yourself up was never part of the assignment. By dropping the judgment, you completely starve that deluded spiral. It flips your practice from a high-stress exam right back into a place of actual rest. Practice number 2 is what we call cloud watching. Just take 1 minute, 60 seconds out of your day to sit and do absolutely nothing. Watch your thoughts just drift on by like clouds. And remember, the goal isn't to have 0 clouds. Trying to clear the sky just turns your thoughts into the enemy. The goal is just to remind yourself, I'm the sky, not the clouds. No matter how many thoughts pile up, the sky itself never loses an inch of space. And finally, practice number 3. Next time that familiar, heavy anxiety creeps in, that nagging feeling of I'm not practicing well enough or I really should be further along by now, stop. Ask yourself, who handed me this measuring stick? Realize that this deep feeling of inadequacy is actually just another deluded thought, and it's wearing a really sneaky costume of spiritual devotion. Don't fight it. Just question if that measuring stick is actually true or if it's just something you made up. Just calling it out usually loosens its grip on you right away. So bringing it all together, what this explainer really reveals is that you don't need to try harder. You don't need to push yourself further. You just need to stop and look. True practice isn't about how much you can add to your life or how high you can climb. It's about how much unnecessary judgment you're finally willing to set down. It's not about magically transforming into someone special. It's just remembering who you already are. We spend so much of our lives forgetting to look up and see the sky that's been there the whole time, right behind the clouds. You are already whole. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this to chew on. The sky has always been there. What clouds are you going to stop fighting today? Take a deep breath, put down that measuring stick, and just rest exactly where you are. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.